It is July 5th, 8 a.m. and I just finished my third shift of the week, second in a row. I was on my own for the last two shifts. I had a 3-baby assignment, the two shifts, they were the same, which was amazing. I had one vapotherm baby. I had 2 NG tubes, and then I had no events the first shift, which was perfect. I did give updates, I believe, the first shift and a full report maybe on 1 or 2 of the babies that I had. And then the second shift, I had the same assignment, still 1 vapotherm, 1 NG. One of the babies got their NG tube out during the day, and then I did have like 2 events, like a Brady / desaturation event. I had 2 of those on different babies. Everything was fine. They self-recovered, so I didn't have to do any interventions. And then I gave 1 full report and gave 2 full reports and 1 update. So overall, it was amazing. The first shift, I got all of my cares done on time. My charting was on time, like everything was perfect. The second shift, because I was familiar with these babies, I wanted to challenge myself a little bit, and I wanted to do something that was a little bit extra. So one of the discharge criteria for one of the babies, I asked the day shift nurse, I was like, hey, do you think it's a good idea if I complete like this, discharge criteria during my shift, just to make sure we can like progress on like the plan of care? She's like, no, don't worry about it, the baby's had a rough day. And so I was like, well, what is it that I can do to, I don't know, just like challenge myself a little bit more, but at the same time, like kind of help the baby out? And so I gave a bath. I gave one of my babies a bath, and when you have a 3-baby assignment, when you're fresh off orientation, when you're on the north side, which is like low acuity, I was told on orientation you're not expected to give baths as frequently, but I wanted to challenge myself, and I had the time, and I just got it done really quickly. And I mean, I felt really good about doing it, and I know that the baby felt really good, because I just noticed in the chart that it had been like a little bit some time since his last bath. So I got that done, and I also helped a new mommy swaddle her baby, which was an amazing experience. I let her be very hands-on and proactive during cares. She helped me weigh her baby, change diaper, temperature, and she helped me get his weight. So just overall an amazing first and second shift off orientation, and I couldn't have asked for a better assignment, and I just hope that we have more shifts like that to come. I can't believe it's already my 3rd week on my own. My first 2 shifts were technically like my 16th week of orientation. That Sunday, which was the beginning of the week, obviously, I was paired up with one of my preceptors solely to complete my paperwork. That morning I met with my educator, and there are some things we still have to complete. So we're going to be planning a day to just go over, like, let's say I need like a simulation, to go over a skill that's kind of important for me to know. But for the most part, everything looked good. And then the 2 shifts that I had the remaining of the week, I was on the low acuity side. I did have 3 patients. I had some NGs, I had PO feeders. I did give a bath. I wanted to challenge myself because the discharge checklist that we had for one of the patients required a car seat challenge, and I really wanted to do something to help like this family, this baby, and because the car seat challenge wasn't recommended because he had like a busy day, I ended up doing a bath instead, which I was just so proud and happy that I had a 3-baby assignment on the second shift, and I challenged myself with a bath, and everything worked out perfectly. My time management was impeccable. I was super impressed. And then the second week, I, to my surprise, was scheduled on the high acuity side. It was 3 shifts of the week, and then I think the first shift I had, I think, room air babies, and then the second shift I had, so the room air babies had like invasive access, so I did have a UVC, and then I had a peripheral IV. We do what's called a sterile procedure for a cap change. If a baby is on TPN and lipids and they have a central line like a UVC or a PIC, but because my TPN was going through a peripheral IV, I did not have to do a cap change. However, I did like read off the TPN, and that basic process of just like spiking the bag, reading off the TPN, it was something that I was already familiar with. So maybe next time, if I don't have a cap change, I can offer somebody else to help with a cap change. But the second night I did have respiratory support. So I had nasal cannula off the wall. So it was just your regular nasal cannula. But for babies, it's like 0.25 liters of oxygen instead of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10 liters of oxygen off the wall. So really don't have to do anything with that. You just have to monitor their vital signs and really a respiratory focused assessment. And then my other baby was on CPAP. So again, in the event that your baby is like drifty, desatting, start with like non-invasive interventions, like, you know, taking out the condensation of your CPAP tubing, repositioning the baby, kind of what you would do like for an adult. What would you do first? Just assess your patient first and then work your way from there. Always call your respiratory therapist if you feel like there's something more that you could do before calling the provider. And then if there's something else that you feel is going on, definitely make sure that you have your SBAR ready before you call your provider, because it's super important to just have a clear and concise communication call or interaction with your provider. So I feel like overall I'm doing such an amazing job. It's just the night shift for me. I'm trying to enjoy my days off as much as I can. Alhamdulillah, I was able to meet with a friend yesterday. I was able to buy some groceries and meal prep for the week. But it's just really difficult to do schoolwork, see family, see friends, and then study for this FCLE exam. So yeah, inshallah, I'll be able to go on day shift sooner than I expect. But I know with this hospital, and just like any other hospital, you have to wait like a year and a half, and it's all really based on seniority and what position is available. So that's what's going on so far. I just finished 3 in a row. I did Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It is now Tuesday, July 22nd, and I feel like it's been kind of a minute since I've filmed anything or recorded anything, because it's just really been me trying to figure out, it's been just me trying to figure out how to time manage and get all of my tasks done within my 12 hours. But luckily it's going so well. At first, like in the beginning of the week, it was kind of a little bit discouraging because I was questioning, is NICU right for me? You know, why am I here? And then today, alhamdulillah, like I had a family education, and I provided education for maybe like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So luckily I was able to provide education on the plan of care and the interventions that were done on day shift and what our shift goals are for night shift. And just that interaction that I had with the family kind of reminded me of why I went to NICU, and it's always been to advocate for the patient population, and of course to enhance the research that goes into NICU, because there's not a lot of research and understanding on how to take care of a newborn. especially like a premature or a very sick newborn. So it was just very rewarding to have that interaction, and I gave that family a lot of reassurance. So always remember your why. It's super important. I am taking a moment to look at my planner because I need to meet with my educator before my very next shift, before I start my shift, because we have to go over some paperwork. So I wanted to make sure that I wrote it down so I don't forget. So because I worked Sunday, Monday of this week, I do have to work Thursday, even though I just worked 3 in a row because the Saturday that I worked counted for the previous week. So this week I already worked Sunday, Monday, and now I work Thursday. I have off Friday night, Saturday night, and then I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I planned on taking my FCLE exam Thursday morning, and then I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday again. Last night I gave my very first IM injection to a baby. They did great. They didn't cry, and I made a band-aid in the shape of a heart. It was super cute. Everybody did great eating and growing. I did everybody's weight, and it was just a great night, and I'm super excited to go back to work. Another thing that I was thinking was, with the high acuity side, I'm very excited to go back to the high acuity side because I am a critical care nurse at heart, and I love critical care. I love everything kind of going deeper into the pathophysiology of what's going on with the patient, electrolyte imbalances, respiratory support, everything. I love it. Fluids, invasive access, that's my niche. But I absolutely love spending time educating families and watching these babies grow. It's been a tremendous experience, and I love sharing it with everybody because I do have a lot of people who are interested in NICU, who have a ton of questions. So I've looked up other YouTube channels about NICU, and as much as I would love to make this into a vlog, I'm more so on what is nursing like in its rawest form. I want to be very transparent because it's not always nice scrubs or aesthetically pleasing. It's very rigorous and strenuous on the body, even if it's just handling with babies. I've come home in between 3 in a row exhausted, and then I've been doing night shift for so long, but I don't think it's night shift. It's a combination of probably my body getting tired of night shift, or it's also a combination of just the go. I'm only sitting down for just a few minutes at a time, if I even get that, to catch up on charting. But I also want to be transparent about how to take care of yourself while nursing. We do have a lot of new nurses that are coming onto the field, which is very exciting. But it's definitely important to show the aesthetic side, but also what is nursing really about? What does a nurse actually do? So luckily I was able to provide family education on what a nurse actually does. We come in, and this goes for adults and pediatrics or NICU. We come in, we give meds, we feed our patients, and then we walk out. What is it that a nurse does? They do a mini assessment just like the doctor does. What's the difference? So it's always important to remind yourself that you're a nurse and you have to advocate for your patient. And with that being said, a nursing is literally just, you come in, you get report, you read the patient's history, you do your assessment. You assess your patient, you administer your medication, or you feed your baby, and then you report an abnormal finding, or you're gonna develop those nursing tingles, those senses. You're saying, hey, I got this in report, it's there normal, but it doesn't feel normal. So maybe we should address it with the day team or the night team again, and we should probably reevaluate to see what it is that we can improve to maybe make this not normal. There's been multiple times, this unit, different unit, where I come in and baby has emesis, or the patient has been satting this percentage, and we're I don't really think that this is supposed to be happening. It might be their new normal, but it's not normal. So always just listen to your gut feeling. But just a little bit of a TED Talk to help out those new nurses or people who are aspiring to be nurses. I don't always recommend nursing to everybody because it's not easy, and if you don't have previous medical experience, or if you've never been to a hospital, or you're not familiar with the hospital setting, you don't really know what a nurse does and what their role is, and it's a lot, and it's a lot of responsibility. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know, comment, message me on Instagram. I do have a private account, but it's okay because I respond to everybody's messages. So yes, please, and thank you so much for your support.